This is practice problem number 1 from lesson 1, number puzzles, and from unit 4, linear equations and linear systems. And this is a revision, and I will add the appropriate title page sometime soon. In problem number 1, you have to figure out how many pages are in a book if Tyler read these fractions of the book on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday he read 3/4 of the remainder of the book, and then on Friday 14 pages were left to read. To solve a problem like this, there has to be some connection to these fractions with an absolute number of pages, and that's right here. These 14 pages are what fraction that connects to the 2/5, 1/3, 2/9, and this 3/4 right here. Well, those 14 pages are 1/4 of the remainder of the book that he has to read on Thursday. So 3/4 he reads on Thursday, and then 1/4 of the remainder of the book he's going to read on Friday. Well, if you know that 1/4 of something is 14 pages, $14, 14 pounds, 14 miles, then you know what the whole part is. The whole part will be 4 times that 1/4, because it's going to be 14 plus 14 plus 14 plus 14. Each of those 14s are 1/4. You have 4 of them. So 4 times 14 is 56 pages. So now we know this part right here is 56 pages long. You also need something that connects these fractions together, the 15ths, the thirds, and the ninths. And what connects them, be able to add them together, is the common multiple of those denominators, or the common denominator. So the prime factorization of 15 is 3 times 5. 3 is a prime number. The prime factorization of 9 is 3 times 3. So if I multiply 3 times 3 times this 5 right here, that equals 45. So 2/15 plus 1/3 plus 2/9. You can change all of these to 45ths. So 2/15 plus 1/3 plus 2/9 equals, this is 6/45. 3 times 15, 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 15, 1 times 15 is 15. 5 times 9, 2 times 5 is 10. So these add up to be 31/45. So now we know that this piece is 31/45. This piece is 56 pages. So what remains is 14/45. So you subtract these 31/45 from the whole thing, which is 45/45. What's left is 14/45. And that 14/45 we know is 56 pages long. So if I know they're 56 pages long, 14/45, I know the size of the whole book. It is the multiplicative inverse of 14/45 times 56. Now I'm going to go into some detail about how you see that, how you understand that. But if I divide 56 pages by 14, I know it's 14 units, 14 parts, 14/45. So if I divide 56 by 14, that's going to tell me the length of one part. So one part is 4 pages long. And I know I have 45 of those parts. So 4 times 45, so 4 pages times 45 parts, 4 pages for each part, equals 180 pages. So 14/45 equals 56 pages. Then how long is 1/45? Well, it's 56 divided by 14. 14 parts equals 56. So one part is 56 pages divided by those 14 parts. And 1/45 is equal to 4 pages. And then to get the whole book, 1/45 equals 4 pages. Then 45 times 4 pages is equal to 180 pages. And again, you're multiplying by the multiplicative inverse. So it shows up all over the place in here. So I'm going to go through this again. This is pretty tough. I'm going to go over the drawing again, but before I do, I want to remind you what you learned in 7th grade. This was the equation for a proportional relationship. And if you remember, K was the constant of proportionality. So in those problems in 7th grade, when you were given the constant of proportionality and the value of x, in this case that value is b, the length of the book, then you learn to multiply the constant of proportionality times the length of the book to get the number of pages in that part, which was 56 pages for our problem. But if they gave you the 56 pages, the length of that part, then you multiplied by the multiplicative inverse of 14/45, which is 45/14. So this becomes 1. 14/45 times 45/14 is 1. And so what you're in effect doing is you're dividing that last portion, that last part, which is 56 pages, by 14 parts. So if you remember, that was 14/45 or 14 parts. So 56 divided by 14 tells you that in one of those parts is 4 pages. You have 45 parts for the whole book. So 4 pages times those 45 total parts is equal to 180 pages. Now last year we actually went back to 3rd grade and reviewed that for a while. In 3rd grade, if you were asked to calculate 6 is equal to 2 times what number, you learned to divide by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, which is the same as multiplying by the multiplicative inverse. So the multiplicative inverse of 2 is 1/2. So 6 times 1/2, same as 6 divided by 2, is equal to 3. And so x is equal to 3. So if you are given y, to calculate the value of x, you're going to multiply by the multiplicative inverse of this coefficient, which was last year was the constant of proportionality. You just have to keep practicing, and it becomes second nature. So now I want to return to the drawing to help me write the equation, and this is the point that I was making in the summary. Don't move away from the drawings, but use the drawings to help you understand the problem and to write the equation for the problem. So in this problem, here are the parts that were read Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And this part right here, 14/45, remained to be read on Thursday and Friday. And we know that 1/4 of this 14/45 are these 14 pages. And so this 14/45, so a confusion in this problem is that there are 2 14s. This is 14/45. This is the last part that needs to be read on Thursday and Friday. And 1/4 of these 14/45 is 14 pages. So 14 pages and 14/45. Now if I know that this 1/4 is 14 pages, 4 times that 14 will equal 56 pages. 4 times 14 is 56. And you can do the calculation. 3 times 14 is 42. That's 3/4. And plus this 1/4 will make the 56 pages. So 3/4 of the remainder and 1/4 of the remainder. So this 1/4 are 14 pages. So if I have 14 equal parts, and I know that those 14 parts are equal to 56, or 56 pages in this case, then one of those parts, or 1/45, is that 56 pages divided by 14. You divide the 56 pages up into 14 equal parts. One of those parts, which is 1/45, is equal to these 4 pages. And once I know that 1/45 is 4 pages, I can calculate the rest of these parts. So 10 times 4 pages, so it's 10/45, or 10 parts. 10 times 4 is 40 pages. 15 times 4 is 60 pages. And 6 times 4 is 24 pages. So this 56 pages plus 24 pages is 80 pages, and this 60 plus this 40 is another 100. So the total number of pages in the book is 180 pages. So this is a drawing or a picture that helps you write the equation. You're going to take away these 3 parts. You're going to be left with this part, and you have information about this part that helps you complete the equation. So here's the equation. If you go back and forth between the drawing and this equation, you will see the connection. So this is what was read on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So add all that together, take this fraction away from the book, and what remains to be read on Thursday and Friday is 14/45 of the book. So this is 31/45. What remains to be read is 14/45. That 14/45, 3/4 of that gets read on Thursday. So 1/4 is what remains to be read on Friday. So 1/4 of these 3 days subtracted from the book. So 1/4 of what remains gets read on Friday, and we're told that that is equal to 14 pages. So here are the 31/45. That gets subtracted from the book. The book is 45/45. It's every 45th added together. So take away the 31/45, you're left with 14/45, and we know that 1/4 of that is equal to these 14 pages. So 1/4 of 14/45 of the book is equal to 14 pages. What we saw in the drawing is that 4 times these 14 pages is equal to the 56 pages. Now remember, these two 14s are not the same. This is 14 pages that remain to be read, and this is 14/45. Now 1/4 of that 14/45 is equal to these 14 pages. It's 1/4, that means 4 times the 14 pages is going to be the 14/45. It's a little bit tough to follow, a lot of words. 14/45 of the book is equal to 4 times these 14 pages. So that equals 56 pages. Go back to the drawing and you'll see that. So this last part, 14/45, is equal to 56 pages. And so now if I divide that 56 pages by 14, that's the same as 1/14 of those 56 pages. That tells me that 1/45 of the book is equal to these 4 pages. And so 45 times that, 45 times those 4 pages equals 180 pages for the book. This is pretty tough. What I'm doing is multiplying by the multiplicative inverse, 45/14 of this 14/45. So this goes back to solving the equation by multiplying by the reciprocal. So when you multiply by the reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse, look at what you're doing. Dividing by 14 or multiplying by 1/14. So here's the 14. Dividing by that 14, 56 divided by 14, or multiplying by 1/14, it is the same thing. And then you multiply by 45. 45 times that 1/14, 1/14 is 4. 45 times 4 equals the 180. Keep working at it, keep practicing, keep thinking about it. 14/45 of the book is equal to 56 pages. That means that the book is 45/14 of the 56. 56 divided by 14, and then times 45. And that equals 180 pages.